Nearly 40 years have passed since Spaceballs turned the galaxy into one giant laugh. But while the movie froze time in 1987, its cast kept living extraordinary stories. One comedy legend who's still going strong at 99, another who walked away from fame for the love of family, and others whose journeys ended far too soon. This is Spaceballs, Then and Now. Mel Brooks, the mad genius who wrote, produced, directed, and starred in Spaceballs in 1987, playing both President Scroob and the Wise Yogurt. Mel was 60 years old when he took on that double role, and he made it look effortless. Today in 2026, Mel is an absolutely extraordinary 99 years old and showing absolutely zero signs of stopping. After Spaceballs, he went on to direct Robin Hood, Men in Tights and Dracula, Dead and Loving It, and then shifted gears to conquer Broadway with The Producer's Musical, which ran from 2001 to 2007 and won him 3 Tony Awards, making him one of the rare EGOT winners in entertainment history. In January 2026, an HBO documentary titled Mel Brooks, the 99-year-old man, premiered to critical acclaim, and that same month he received an honorary Academy Award. If that wasn't enough, Mel announced that Spaceballs 2 is in production, set for release in 2027, and he is returning as Yogurt himself. He was married to the legendary actress Anne Bancroft from 1964 until her death in 2005. A love story that endured 41 years. At 99, Mel Brooks remains the funniest, most unstoppable force in the history of comedy. Scroob may have been clueless, but Mel Brooks has always known exactly what he was doing. Daphne Zuniga, who played the wonderfully spoiled and surprisingly fierce Princess Vespa, the Princess Leia parody, who would rather have her hair done than be rescued. Daphne was just 24 years old when she brought Vespa to life with perfect comic flair and undeniable screen presence. In 2026, Daphne is 63 years old and has had a rich, diverse career across both film and television. After Spaceballs, she starred in The Fly 2, then landed the iconic role of Jo Reynolds on the hit soap opera Melrose Place from 1992 to 1996, bringing her mainstream television fame. She also appeared in One Tree Hill for several seasons. Beyond acting, Daphne has been deeply committed to environmental activism for decades and was a founding member of the Earth Communications Office. She has kept her personal life largely private, but has spoken openly about living a meaningful, purpose-driven life outside the Hollywood bubble. And in one of 2025's most exciting announcements, Daphne confirmed she is returning to reprise Princess Vespa in Spaceballs 2, which she described as one of the most incredible experiences of her life. The princess never needed rescuing after all. John Candy, the big-hearted Canadian comedy giant who played Barf, the lovable half-man, half-dog sidekick to Lone Starr. John was just 36 years old when he suited up in that furry costume and delivered one of the most endearing characters in movie history. Sadly, John passed away on March 4, 1994, at only 43 years old, from a heart attack while filming a movie in Mexico. His death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and left a void that has never truly been filled. Before Spaceballs, John had already become a beloved figure through SCTV and Ghostbusters, and after it he starred in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Uncle Buck, and Cool Runnings, becoming one of the most cherished comedic actors of his generation. He was married to Rosemary Hobor, and they had 2 children together. John struggled with his weight and the pressures of fame throughout his career, but never let it dim his warmth on screen. Barf said he was his own best friend, and honestly, John Candy was everyone's best friend. His loss remains one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking, and fans still feel it deeply to this day. Rick Moranis, the bespectacled Canadian comedy legend who played the hilariously inept Dark Helmet, one of the most quotable villains in film history. Rick was 34 years old when he strapped on that oversized helmet and made Darth Vader look absolutely ridiculous. In 2026, Rick is 72 years old, and his story is one of the most touching in all of Hollywood. After Spaceballs, Rick went on to star in Honey, The I Shrunk the Kids, and The Flintstones, and had one of the hottest careers in comedy. Then tragedy struck in 1991 when his wife, Ann Belsky, a costume designer, died of breast cancer at just 35 years old. With 2 young children to raise alone, Rick made the selfless decision to step away from Hollywood in 1997 to be a full-time father. He stayed gone for nearly 3 decades, turning down even a cameo in the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot. Then, when Mel Brooks personally called him, Rick said yes to Spaceballs 2. Filming wrapped in December 2025, marking his return to live-action film for the first time since 1997. He was also attacked by a random stranger stranger on a New York street in 2020 but recovered. Rick Moranis chose love and fatherhood over fame, and Hollywood never forgot him. The Schwartz was always with him. Bill Pullman, who played the roguish Lone Starr, the Han Solo of the Spaceballs universe, swaggering through the galaxy with perfect comic timing. Bill was 33 years old when he landed the role that launched his movie career. In 2026, Bill is 72 years old and has built one of the most quietly impressive careers in American film. After Spaceballs, he became a household name starring in Sleepless in Seattle, Casper, While You Were Sleeping, and most famously as the president who punched an alien in Independence Day in 1996. He later earned critical praise for the TV series The Sinner. Now, Bill is returning as Lone Starr in Spaceballs 2 alongside his real-life son Lewis Pullman, who will play Lone Starr's son in the film, one of the most charming casting decisions in Hollywood history. Bill married modern dancer Tamara Hurwitz in 1987, the same year Spaceballs came out, and they have been together ever since, raising 3 children on a cattle ranch in Montana. Nearly 40 years of marriage, 3 kids, and still saving the galaxy. Lone Starr never had it so good. Dick Van Patten, the warm and beloved character actor who played King Roland, Princess Vespa's devoted and rather frantic father. Dick was 58 years old when he joined the Spaceballs royal family, bringing his trademark gentle charm to the role. Sadly, Dick passed away on June 23, 2015, at the age of 86, from complications of diabetes. Before Spaceballs, Dick was already deeply beloved as the patriarch Tom Bradford on the hit TV series 8 is Enough, which ran from 1977 to 1981. After Spaceballs, he continued working steadily in television and became a passionate animal rights advocate, founding Natural Balance Pet Foods, a company dedicated to high-quality nutrition for animals. He was married to his wife Patricia for over 50 years and had 3 sons, all of whom followed him into the entertainment industry. Dick Van Patten was one of those rare Hollywood figures who was genuinely as kind in real life as the characters he played on screen. King Roland worried about his daughter, and Dick spent his life worrying about the well-being of every creature on the planet. That says everything. George Wyner, the veteran character actor who played the scheming and perpetually exasperated Colonel Sandurz, the Grand Moff Tarkin parody who had to manage the chaos of Dark Helmet and President Scroob every single day. George was 41 years old when he took on the role, delivering every line with impeccable straight-faced comic precision. In 2026, so George is 80 years old and has had one of the most quietly prolific careers in Hollywood. After Spaceballs, he continued appearing in film and television for decades, with memorable roles in everything from Hill Street Blues to Boston Legal. His ability to play authority figures with just the right touch of bumbling seriousness made him a go-to character actor for directors across Hollywood. George has maintained a notably private personal life, staying well away from tabloid drama and focusing steadily on his craft. In another nod to the loyalty of this cast, George Wyner is also returning for Spaceballs 2 as Colonel Sandurz, nearly 40 years later and still trying to manage the madness. Some officers never get to retire. Lorene Yarnell, the mime and physical performer who wore the dot matrix costume on screen, bringing the robot to life with her body while Joan Rivers supplied the voice. Lorene was 43 years old when she took on the physically demanding role, and her performance was the perfect complement to Rivers' vocals. Sadly, Lorene passed away on July 29, 2010, at age 66 from cancer. Before Spaceballs, Lorene was already famous as one half of the mime duo Shields and Yarnell, who had their own hit variety television show in the 1970s and charmed audiences around the world with their silent storytelling. After Spaceballs, she continued performing and teaching the art of mime. She was married to Swedish astronaut Christer Fuglesang, a remarkable and unusual chapter in a life that was anything but ordinary. Lorene Yarnell lived her entire life as a performer, communicating volumes without saying a single word, and as Dot Matrix, she proved that sometimes the body says everything the voice cannot. Michael Winslow, the phenomenally talented man of 10,000 sound effects, who played the radar technician and nearly stole every scene he appeared in simply by opening his mouth. Michael was 28 years old when he joined the Spaceballs crew, already famous from his beloved role as Larvell Jones in the Police Academy film series. In 2026, Michael is 67 years old and remains one of the most singularly talented performers alive. His ability to produce any sound imaginable using only his voice is a skill so extraordinary that it borders on the supernatural. After Spaceballs, he continued the Police Academy franchise, performed internationally as a stand-up comedian and one-man variety act, and became a sought-after voice performer. He has appeared at fan conventions worldwide where audiences never tire of watching him recreate guitar solos, jet engines, and laser battles with nothing but his vocal cords. Michael has faced personal challenges over the years, including financial difficulties, but has always bounced back through sheer talent and determination. When Michael Winslow shows up, no special effects team is needed. He is the special effect.